How's it going, Reef Keepers? It's been a minute since I have shown this little clownfish anemone tank, but it's been chugging along, and as you can see, I have taken out quite a bit of the bubble algae, actually just by ripping it out with a little scrub brush. But I recently had a pretty amazing event take place in this little aquarium, which I have never seen or, experienced before because I've never had an anemone before. But this little nem that I had in here, I guess it grew to a point where it was, not so little anymore. If you remember, it was up here, kind of on the center left of the rock, right in this region. And I had stabilized it after I bought it. You guys may remember the video about it bleaching. Like it came in bleached, and I basically had to slow ramp the par to get it back up to health. And it just began to flourish after that. And then the other day, something pretty remarkable happened. It split. So here's the little baby, if you will, clinging to the back of the rock there. I wish it was more visible. And then here's kind of the larger part, or what would be considered the mother, I suppose. And it's it went down low, but it's making its way back up, it seems, back into the light. Both of them actually are making their way back into the light. And I wanted to kind of recount for you, like, what happened. And I don't know, like, anything deep about the splitting process of anemones or anything like that. I'm not some expert with this particular reef life form, but I will tell you what happened with my event. So basically, I noticed when I came into my daughter's playroom here, I always glance at the tanks to make sure they're doing okay. And I was like, this anemone is moving, out of its normal position. And since I had put it in the tank, it had never, ever changed position. It was like super happy with that position. So I was like, that's kind of weird. And upon closer examination of it, you can see right now how the I don't know, the tentacles are kind of, not stubby. They're kind of, out and extended. Well, I also noticed that and by the way, that's typical for this anemone. So I kind of noticed that the tentacles were stubby, like they were withdrawn a little bit. So I initially assumed, oh, it must be whatever, irritated or hungry or something. So it had moved a little out of position, and I took some carnivore pellets and stuck my hand in the tank and just dusted some carnivore pellets into it. Well, this is when I began to suspect, okay, maybe it's a splitting event occurring because those those carnivore pellets, it didn't eat them. Like normally those are boom, gone. And instead, it kind of pushed all of them toward its mouth in the center, and then they just sort of dissolved and fell out. So maybe that's a hallmark, like because the nem is splitting, it cannot complete the process of eating. But it seemed like it just couldn't get them down. So I was like, okay, interesting. I'll just keep an eye on it. Well, as it moved, at some point, part of it stopped moving. And I could tell that, like, its foot was not, like, in the rear portion, was not moving with the rest of it. And it began to kind of stretch out and elongate along the rock. And I was like, okay, either it's tearing itself apart or it's going to split. And we had to go do an errand. And when we got back, lo and behold, it had split. So I didn't see the actual split, so to speak, like the moment it occurred or whatever. And I think it is like a lengthy thing, like it, just kind of drags itself into two. But when we got back, had a, little baby anemone, and my daughter was over the moon and super excited about it. Even my wife was interested, which is, that's good. But yeah, since then, they have both been recovering, and the tentacles were, kind of withdrawn for a few days on both of them. And then they slowly began to, push those tentacles back out and extend them. And then they kind of hung out in the shadows for like 3 or 4 days. And now they're slowly now that they've like healed kind of, they're slowly creeping back up the rock and into the light. So the only thing I can say that, I guess people struggle to split their nems, here's what I did. The only thing I do on this tank every week is it's a 13.5 gallon tank. So I do a 2 gallon water change every single week, like clockwork. I never miss it. I also you can see I've got a couple corals in here. I dose the tank, right? And with Alpha Reef, and I just keep I test by alkalinity, and I just keep the alkalinity at about 8. And basically that's it. Besides, scraping it and keeping the bubble algae, in check, and just swapping out some filter floss. Like, that's all I run in this is just simple filter floss and some biological media balls in the back chambers. That's it. That's the extent of it. So I guess and I guess I feed carnivore pellets to the nem, I don't know, a couple times a week. So maybe feed it a little bit, keep its water clean, keep some consistent levels in the water as far as like dosing is concerned. Maybe, don't even know if that's impactful. I guess stability helps. And that's it, guys. And I've got it under a pretty strong light. I've got this AI Prime 16 HD cranked up to, I think we're getting like 300 par on the very top of the rock right here. Maybe a little less, maybe like 275 or something like that. But I mean, they like bright light, or they seem to. So that's it. But yeah, little multiplication going on with the NEMs here. And it's pretty exciting. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And hopefully these will grow back into, larger anemones and then continue to split. And who knows, those clownfish might have a whole tank of anemones to play around in pretty soon. So, all right, guys, that's all I got for you. If you have questions, please don't hesitate. Have a good one.